My name is Rosa Zavala. This is my video on the board meeting. I attended the Roseville Union School District meeting on September 10th, 2019. The location was 2553 Old Farm Road. There was approximately 25 to 30 people that attended the meeting, and that was including a principal from Del Rio Elementary, along with the staff, with some staff and a student and the student's family members. This district serves K through 8th, total of 9 schools. Approximately 5,235 students are within the district. The board president is Gary Moore. The vice president is Barbara Metler. The clerk is Patty Young. The trustee representative is Leanne Cook. And the member is Michael Spickler. We also had the superintendent there, which is Dr. John J. Mendeburer. I probably really butchered his name, I apologize. And the associate superintendent, Sue Lemon, and the chief administrator of operations, Russell Sentes. I really butchered that name too, I apologize again. So total the board consists of 5 members. I believe they meet once a month. I don't know if the times are the same. For this board meeting, it started at 7 and we were out by 8, so it was a really short board meeting. They had a student council president from Del Rio Elementary come in and present to the board a PowerPoint on her experience at the school and the extracurricular activities that they have had and that they are having, like coming up activities. I thought that was really cool to see that a student came in and presented to the board on her personal experience and how she feels about everything that they've done. I feel like it's always reassuring to see that the students are actually enjoying what is set up for them. So I thought that was really unique and cool. And also it was really cool because that's actually the school that I'm placed at. So it was really nice to see a student go in and talk good things about the school. The types of business the board is required to address are finance, create and manage district budgets, which they did talk about. But honestly, it was very fast paced and they didn't have visuals, like a lot of visuals to show what they were talking about. So a lot of it was just numbers being thrown out with names, but their vocab was just so different. It was very hard to keep up with what they were talking about. The curriculum, so they accept or decline new ideas that are being requested to be implemented in the curriculum, whether it be through parents, teachers, or the board themselves. Then they talk about students, so the establishment student policies both in and outside of the classroom, which they did talk about that too. So the format was very formal. The board's in the front, and then they had this long table where everybody was just sitting at. Although it felt very disconnected. There was no connection between like the audience and the board. They were really like talking within themselves, and a lot of whispering was happening. So they would kind of talk to one another, and then we would just kind of all look around and try to figure out what is going on. Not that I was expecting them to have, full-on conversations with us, because I'm sure that's not how that works. But I've been to a board meeting for the current high school district. But again, the topic was so different. When I went, they were talking about if teachers should be allowed to carry guns in schools. So, we had parents, teachers, the news was there, protesters. It was intense. So maybe it was because the discussion that they were talking about for this board meeting didn't really require a lot of conversation. It was more just to the point, this is what's happening, this is what we plan on doing, and let's move on. And then they would, vote. Although it was very interesting. It was very interesting to see how they go about deciding what is going to happen in the schools. It's not as simple as, okay, we want to implement this, okay, let's go for it. Like, no, there's a lot of factors that are being played out and try to figure out, like, what best fits the curriculum, the students, the teachers, everything. They did talk about coming up workshops for teachers and their goals and teaching them new techniques for teaching and ways to improve their interactions with the students, which I thought was very cool to see because it is things that, as future educators, we're going to have to do. And this all affects us, the decisions that are being made. So I think it's very important for you to know, like, to be informed. I feel like I've watched a couple of students' videos, of my classmates' videos, and a lot of them talked about how, like, there's no parents really showed up. And I really believe that it's because the lack of information. A lot of them don't really understand what the board is. A lot of them don't even know that it's open to the public. So I feel like it's important for teachers to be informed. Like, if you don't like something that's happening in your classroom or in the school, know that you can go to the board, address the issue, and hopefully something comes out of it. And same with parents. A lot of them, because they don't know, they don't even know what the board is. So let alone go to the board meetings. So I thought that was something that was very interesting that a lot of you guys brought up, and I totally agree. It was like for this board meeting, the students' family members were there, but I mean, as soon as her part was over, they left. Like they didn't stick around, and I mean, I'm sure they probably had things to do, but again, I feel like it leads to the whole. A lot of parents don't know about it. Um, they talked about different things, but one topic that really interested me was the they were trying to they were trying to implement something in a classroom, which is the alternative discipline. So this kind of steers away from having to take out the student from classroom time. So if there's an issue, it's kind of like try to resolve it in class. But this was more like a research paper, not a research paper, but it was like a writing assignment for the student to reflect on his or her actions. So there was two parts to it. So it's a reflection. They write about what happened and what led to that, and then they do an instruction research, which makes them think about the consequences of fighting and how it can affect them in the long run. Like if they were to do this type of if they were to fight in a workplace, like how what would be the end result of it? It'd be getting fired or even getting arrested. So I feel like that was powerful. It is powerful for students to know like this behavior is not okay. And there is consequences to it. It's not just okay, we're going to suspend you or you're not going to go to class. It's like this really does affect you in the long run. And then they do the restorative questions, which is questions for the other student that the altercation happened with to find common ground. So trying to avoid the problem from happening again, they're trying to not make the students friends, but trying to make them understand like what upset one another, find common ground, and resolve the issue. This was actually very interesting because I know that the Panama Buena Vista district they implemented something similar to that. I'm not really quite sure what the name of it is, but I know that it's they can't send out the students to the principal. They can't suspend them. I really the name I can't remember the name, but my little brother is actually he's in the Panama Buena Vista district, so he's in one of the junior highs, and he's a little troublemaker. He really is, and he was getting in trouble a lot with one of his teachers. And because I know I went to the same junior high, I know a lot of the teachers, so she's new, and she was sending him out because she couldn't send him to the principal's office. She really wasn't trying to find like a way to meet in the middle with him. It was constant arguing between them. So she would just send him to different teachers. And I found out because one of the teachers that she sent him to texted me and told me, "Your brother's in my classroom." And I feel like I see the goal of it. I see what they're trying to do. But again, I feel like it's disruptive. You're sending him away to another classroom where he isn't learning what he's supposed to be learning in the classroom. He's missing out on lessons, and now he's having to sit in another classroom and distract those students. I feel like I see the end goal of keeping the students in the classroom, but I feel like there's a lot of things that need to go and they need to fix. There's pros and cons to everything, and but yeah, this conversation actually led to a very heated discussion at the end of the board meeting between me and some of my classmates, um, because I walked out thinking, "Oh my God, that's a great idea," and they were like, "What do you mean? That's not good. It is a distraction for the teachers because you have to keep that student in there. I don't think that you should constantly just okay, let's send him out, but I just modify the what they're trying to implement." Um, so overall, it was a really good experience because they actually talked about curriculum and things that happen in the classrooms, which is like a lot of stuff that they were talking about. We've read about in the book or in other classes that I'm also taking. So I was very interested. Like the whole time that I was in there, I was like, "Oh my God, I've read that," or "Yeah, I've seen that." So I think it's a lot of what we are actually reading really is important for us to know because it does affect us. The board does decide what's going to be implemented in the classrooms, in the schools, with the students, with the teachers. So the book is 100% correct about knowing, be informed of what is happening, where you can go to if you have an issue. Um, I think that's all very powerful. Um, at the end, we were able to go up to the board and introduce ourselves. They were very nice. They were very nice. You know, they gave us all a handshake, and we took a picture. I can't show you guys the picture because I'm actually recording on my phone and I have it on my phone. Um, but my experience overall was good. It was great to see that side of education, and as in like what really goes into play when when making all these decisions. I think all the future educators should attend at least one board meeting, as this does affect things that go on in your classroom. So thank you. I hope you all enjoyed my video.